Hello, Steve White, TrekWay89 for Steve Arts C9. A tiny little bit of Trek merch news, because there's a lot of Star Trek news at the moment, because they're trying to hype up the release of Discovery Season 5 and so forth. But it's all, empty compliments and no information. It's all vague, and so there's really nothing to talk about with any of these interviews. It's just, yeah, it's the new season, it's great, it's wonderful, we had a great time, you're going to love it. And it's like, no information. But something that has been released that's real is the 12-inch Dr. Bashir figure from, what's the name of the company? EXO 6. Yeah, EXO 6, EXO 6, I think that's how you say it. They've already released Cisco and Kira and Quark, and after they do Bashir, they're going to do Dax, which they should have done first. She's like the best and favourite character, and Odo. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Deep Space Nine. I watched it back in the day and didn't really understand how it kind of hurt Star Trek and wasn't... it was a great science fiction drama, yes, well written and everything. But it wasn't really Star Trek. It focused on war and religion, all the things that Star Trek cured and fixed and removed, and that's why we're able to go into space and not be fighting with ourselves. But these people who couldn't appreciate what Star Trek was had to drag all that current day politics and war and drama and terrorism and religion into Star Trek and basically make it just like a regular drama today. So it really hurt Star Trek before Discovery took it to another level. But yeah, so I'm not really that fond as far as collectibles go with Deep Space Nine. I'm not really feeling like I want to commemorate the show because I just kind of try to forget it, and I focus on Next Generation and Voyager and Enterprise because they were real Star Trek shows that weren't focused on war and religion but were based on and focused on exploration and the universe and so forth. Deep Space Nine had a season or two where it did that, but then they're like, no, we don't like. We want to make it like, Babylon 5. We want to make it current day politics, war, pro-religion, and they killed the show. And from the third, fourth season on, as far as a Star Trek show, it killed it. So far as a drama, it was very well written, and that's the problem. People always argue how good the drama was and the acting was and the supporting characters and so forth, and all of that was brilliant in a way, but it just wasn't Star Trek, and it just hurt Star Trek. And that's why the ratings started going down at that point. They were pretty consistent with Next Gen, Deep Space Nine the first year or so, but then once they made that twist and then Voyager went to UPN, it killed Star Trek. And a lot of people don't blame Deep Space Nine for that because of the quality of the show. They always argue that, and I'm like, no. So yeah, so I'm not running around looking for Deep Space Nine figures and stuff, but I do like Dr. Bashir. I liked the character, I like the actor, and I wouldn't mind having a Dr. Bashir and a Dax figure, just have them standing together. I never liked Odo's makeup. The character's great, but the makeup and the Bajoran uniforms, it's like, gee, we have to create an alien look, so let's just make it ugly as hell. So, it's one of the problems with the design of Star Trek sometimes. To make something alien, they made it ugly. And a lot of the designs that you just can't look at them, they're just not attractive or interesting, whereas they're very alien. But yeah, so I don't mind the Starfleet characters, although I don't like, Cisco because he's a war criminal. But Dax and Bashir I'm more than happy to have, but they did ruin Bashir, I must say, by rewriting his character and making him an augment, which basically meant he was hiding that the whole time through the series and was being fake and acting the whole time. So then when you try and watch the series back knowing he's an augment, it ruins the character. And they may have thought it was a really clever twist in that moment, in that season, and in that story, but it ruined the character. And the actor has said as much in interviews. He's shocked to that and realising that he'd played his character all these years as something other than it actually was, and how he was going to... It's one of those things. But yeah, so we're getting another EXO 6 character. It looks great. It's a character I wouldn't actually mind. I really only want the original series characters, maybe the movie versions as well, maybe Next Generation, maybe some Voyager. I wouldn't get Neelix and God, what was that pixie alien? I've forgotten her name. I guess I blocked it out due to trauma. But yeah, so I'd only buy some of the Voyager characters. And I wouldn't buy any of the Enterprise characters because I love the characters, but I hate the uniforms. I don't want a representation of that on, you know, a 12-inch representation of those ugly uniforms. So yeah, but I would get Bashir. So I just want to comment on that. And just on Deep Space Nine a little bit, anytime I get to trash the show for all the things it did to damage Star Trek before Discovery, it was the proto-Discovery, the pre-Discovery, you know, the anti-Star Trek Star Trek. And they did it immediately. As soon as Gene Roddenberry got sick and then died, they made that show because they couldn't make it while he was alive because he wouldn't let them, because he knew that it was not Star Trek. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the figure. I think it looks amazing. The show, you know, if you have some thoughts, feel free to share them as well. But, you know, you already know what mine are.